Singapore Airlines. Long considered to be one of the great airlines of the world, more recently, especially post-pandemic, I've seen a lot more negative and critical reviews pop up. But believe it or not, I've never actually flown them before, or even been to Singapore. But I wanted to give them their best chance to impress on this trip, so I was able to fly their regional business class on the A350. Does Singapore live up to the legendary reputation, or do the haters have a point? Let's find out on this trip from Ho Chi Minh to Singapore. Good morning, Saigon! I know the TWA Hotel at JFK is famous for having a plane spotting pool, but look at this. I'm here at the Ibis Airport Hotel paying a fraction to be able to do the same thing. I made the mistake of trying to walk from my hotel to the airport. Yeah, don't. Vietnam isn't designed for pedestrians after all, so even taking a circuitous route, several of the escalators and elevators to the departure level were out of order. I checked in at the airport and was given a choice of lounge access, spa treatment, or a restaurant credit. I went for the spa treatment since I'd have access to lounges anyway with Priority Pass. If you're curious about what Singapore's home lounge is like, we'll see that in the next video. Immigration in Vietnam has a notorious reputation, and for good reason. While I wasn't solicited for a bribe, it did take 36 minutes to clear, with agents taking about 45 seconds per individual. Then came security. All told, it took about an hour to enter the secure area. Apparently there was a business class line somewhere, but I didn't see it and nobody directed me there. Many of the lounges in Ho Chi Minh are on the second level. That's the lounge Singapore would have given me access to. Instead, though, I had a wonderful 20-minute foot massage, which I definitely needed. While there's several lounges Priority Pass gets you into, I went for the one closer to my gate, the Halal Lounge. It had a fantastic view of the aircraft. They had some curries and desserts that weren't bad, along with some juice. There were no alcoholic beverages though, as it is literally called the Halal Lounge. I finally headed over to the gate. Another quirk of the Ho Chi Minh Airport is that it's a silent airport with no PA announcements, so boarding just sorta started. Singapore has several different business class seats. The ones on this flight are the regional ones found on both some A350s and the 787s. I also just covered this seat on Turkish Airlines. Longer haul A350s and the 777 and A380 have two other types. The 40 seats are in a 1-2-1 with alternating island window seats. Like with Turkish, there's the super annoying wing on the seat. Since I literally just covered these seats already, I won't be going into too much detail, but in the storage cubby there's USB and full power, seat controls, remote, and lighting controls on the little wing. There's the same wasted space on the side and an overly small footwell, but I've already said my piece on that before, and plus this is a daytime flight. There are no individual air nozzles, and there is a 3-prong seat belt. I was greeted by name by the cabin manager, given a very hot towel, and offered a choice of water, watermelon juice, or champagne. Singapore serves Charles Hedsig Brut Reserve, which retails at about $50 a bottle. I feel like I'm supposed to say something here. Oh, that's right. Cheers, here's to a great flight. Singapore often has the option to book the cook, but that's not available on such a short flight and on this particular route, and all orders were taken on the ground. Amenities also have been cut and are by request only, but at least unlike Polaris, you know they even exist. Flying time to Singapore was 1 hour 35 at 41,000 feet. Given the short flight, the second they could, the crew sprung into action for the meal. It was served on a real placeware and not just a single tray. There was a starter of Vietnamese beef la lotte, grilled beef wrapped in leaves, and I got a stir-fried chicken with capsicum in a black bean sauce served with a choice of bread. I actually think it all tasted pretty darn good, and the portion was huge. To finish it off, there was a lime tart that was good but lacked the real punch of something like a key lime pie. I switched to a glass of Craggy Range New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, $24 bottle, and a tasty 16-year-old Scotch whiskey, about $75 a bottle. The crew was constantly running through the cabin to see if we needed a refill or anything at all. I was constantly referred to by name and shown the bottle each time. I guess I'd say the service was very direct in a "look at me, I'm giving you good service" sort of a way, but I really couldn't fault them for anything. There is free unlimited Wi-Fi for business class and all KrisFlyer members, and speeds were more than usable. The screen is touch and very responsive. The moving map is common among many other airlines and is a bit low res, but absolutely fine. Sadly, there is no tail camera like on the Turkish A350. The movie and TV selection was also absolutely massive, and there was a mix of new releases and old favorites. All too soon, we began our descent into Singapore. We were told to remove personal headphones, but the noise-canceling ones were okay to use. I guess it's a safety issue, but it's still a bit odd. I didn't use them, but they seemed fine. Sitting on the left, I had a fantastic view of the city as we landed in Changi. So Singapore regional business class on the A350. I don't think I've ever been so thoroughly spoiled on a sub-2-hour flight. The crew is fantastic, the food quite good, and while the seat definitely has its issues for sleeping, that wasn't a factor on this daytime flight. I truly enjoyed it, and while the comparison is completely unfair, an hour 35 is just about what Chicago DC is, my most flown route, and I think it's fair to say that even in first class, it's not even a comparison worth making. I genuinely wanted the flight to continue. Did I need to fly business class on such a short flight? No, but I did. And at only 20,000 Aeroplan miles, it's a fun little splurge. I'm not remotely ready to rank Singapore yet, because Asia is full of amazing airlines. You might even say that
if you have a dream, never give up believing in your dream, living your dream, and doing something every day to make that dream happen. But remember one thing, no matter who you are, no matter how hard you work, or how good you think you are at what you do, there will always be an Asian who takes it to the next level. Yeah!
So join me next time for the next review on the list on EVA.